We've seen LeBron James dominate the NBA for so many years now, we kinda got used to it. His career is slowly going to come to an end within the next few seasons, but for right now he's still going strong, averaging 26 points per game this season. As we look at his game, anyone that has been watching him for a while can see that he's still incorporating new moves and developing his game. In recent seasons, he has been working on and incorporating something from Jordan's repertoire, which is the fadeaway jumper in the post. That jumper has allowed James to be effective much longer into his years and develop more of a post-up game for which James was not known much in the first part of his career. James was simply a freight train, quick and unstoppable driver that was able to overpower most defenders. As he's getting older, it is not that he can't do it anymore because he still does those things almost every game, but the post-up game and the MJ-style fadeaway is saving him and preserving his body a little more. All great players in the NBA, as the years go by and they get older, they incorporate new ways to score to make it a little easier on themselves and to expend a little less effort. All the smart ones do this. James has dealt with some injuries already, and he's trying to minimize the strain on his body now as much as possible. Watching James shoot the fadeaway with a fake to one side and spinning to the other is fun, but MJ developed that move to perfection, and I don't think anyone will ever be as great at it as he was. But Kobe, God rest his soul, and now James have come real close. When you watch James operate in the post these days, you can easily see the resemblance. As every great player in the league, no one can be 100% new with everything. As anyone that ever played and were or still are basketball players, we all had or have idols we try to emulate and learn from. Up until a few years back, James didn't really need the post-up move much. The first thing he got better at was the three-point shooting. He had the drive anytime he wanted. He developed the three-point shot and saw that alone made it easier on him. Now he has developed a damn good fadeaway, and that has been working for him as well. Thanks to that move, his game has become more complete. Anyone can argue that James had this since the beginning, which I will totally disagree with. He didn't have it as good as now. He didn't need it. But now he has been working on it more and more, and if you closely look at the footwork, he has been taking lessons from MJ, no question. Some of the plays are literally almost like a mirror image of MJ and Kobe, because Kobe took Michael's moves. What I like with this about LeBron is that he's growing and diversifying at his age and this late in his career. He's been developing this for a few seasons now and has become very comfortable with the post-up fadeaway now. James took a lot of criticism early in his career because he was not able to play with his back to the basket. First, he didn't need to, and second, because he didn't need to, he didn't put much work in to develop it. As his career went on, he began to get better and better at it, and he looks like he has solved the back to the basket game puzzle. The most glaring time where James got humbled and wasn't able to take advantage of his height while being defended by smaller players was during the NBA Finals against Dallas. James was unable to figure out and take advantage of players like Jason Kidd, Jason Terry, and J.J. Barea in the post. In his 8th season that year, you can argue that James was in his prime, and partially he was. But it also looks like James gets individually better with time, like a bottle of wine that he likes so much. The whole post-up game transformation had started for LeBron after those finals, when he started to work on his post game with the Hall of Fame center Akeem Olajuwon. After that offseason, Eric Spoelstra, the Heat coach, said this about LeBron's improvement during that offseason. When he returned after the lockout, he was a totally different player. It was as if he downloaded a program with all of Olajuwon's and Ewing's post-up moves. I don't know if I've seen a player improve that much in a specific area in one offseason. For years, since 2011, James has been slowly improving his post-up game by adding a small hook shot and other moves. When he gets doubled, he has learned to counter in the opposite direction for a turnaround jumper. When he can, he spins off and drives to the hole or passes out to the open man. I'm not a huge fan of James, as some of my viewers probably know, but I have to give props where props are due. James has made his post-up game great now, and has incorporated the fadeaway very nicely. Not everyone can do that, even if you're athletic. I do consider Lebron James one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and by him adding more diversity and making his game more multi-dimensional just solidifies that position. The greats become greater with time, and as they encounter limitations of age and athleticism, they adjust and change their game in such a way that allows them to be at the top for much longer than most other players could. Only a special few are able to do this, and James is definitely in that group. Now let you enjoy these highlights of LeBron James' post-up game.
Having fun because they're going 11 deep. Everybody gets a chance to play. Spin LeBron, scoring! LeBron still with the dribble, doesn't give it up. Minute 20 to play here in the quarter. LeBron turns, confronts two players. Reverse! LeBron, he's a point away from double digits to extend it to 998. Is it now? It is! This one's been back and forth. Lakers, LeBron, down goes a defender. LeBron scores. Extension every game of his senior year or his year in college last year. LeBron regular season wins. LeBron in the left. By the way, Montrez is one rebound away from another double-double. He's a walking double-double, blocked, but a goaltending has it right there. James. And a bunch of games postponed again today. First quarter with Minnesota. LeBron trying to spin, come back.
Suns had the lead, and they're up 7 here.
James, he gets it right back. They had a 52-year championship drought before they won. Swing it, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.